All right, so we've been doing our house values series, kind of just a little refresher course on house values, just so that as we go throughout the year and we emphasize these and we talk about them and we say them and we hashtag them and all the different stuff, we know what we're talking about and why it's so important to 412 to have these values and to be a place that shows these values and that lives and breathes these values. So we've been kind of going through that, and yesterday we talked a little bit about we are note takers. Today we're going to talk a little bit about something different, and this is a hard one for teenagers, and I'll tell you why. Because generally speaking, teenagers are at a quarrel with somebody. They're fighting with somebody. So what happens when, let's say, you're fighting with a girl named Kathy? Okay, you're fighting with a girl named Kathy. I literally have I know one Kathy in Utah, but I don't know like any other Kathys. So Kathy, if you're watching this, it's not about you. So anyways, so there's this girl named Kathy, and you're fighting with Kathy. You don't like her and all that other stuff. Well, then Billy brings Kathy to youth group. Well, I'm not. I mean, there's just, well, no, she can't come to this youth group. I don't like her. Well, that goes against our next house value, and that's friends become family. Do you realize that even within your own family, sometimes you have quarrels, sometimes you have issues, sometimes you have to work through things together, but in the end, you're still family no matter what. What I want at 412 is for when a visitor comes, that automatically that person is accepted into our 412 family. They are treated like they have been there for years. They're treated like they've been there since the day it began. And friends become family. And where do we find that? Why do we go off of that? Well, in Ephesians chapter 2, in verse 19, it says, "Now therefore you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God." We will be giving the gospel to anybody who walks through the door at 412. We'll be preaching the gospel. So they have the opportunity to become part of the household of God, to accept Jesus Christ's sacrifice for them and be part of the family of God. If that's the case, then when they walk through the door, we ought to treat them like they have the ability to become a member of the family of God. Friends become family. Why? It goes on to say, having been built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. So in other words, that's what we're building on top of is Christ. In whom the whole building, now remember, we're talking about the family of God, being fitted together, grows into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom you also are being built together for a dwelling place of God in the Spirit. God looks at our 412, God looks at Harmony Baptist Church and says that this is a dwelling place for me. This is the family of God. And they ought to be edifying and building each other up. They ought to be working together and getting things accomplished for me, because that's who they are. So when someone walks into 412, they ought to be welcomed as if they're family, because friends become family, so that we can honor and glorify God by being a building fitly framed together or grouped together in such a way to where it accomplishes a good purpose. The teen of the day today is Connor Reynolds. Pray for him that he would have a good day, that school would go well, and that he would just have a good end to his week. You guys have a good day.